Oh, hey, Life of Rico, how are you? Hey, Adela, love the content so far this year. How many homes have you sold so far this year from January to today? If you don't mind me asking, I watch your lives every day, just looking for motivation. My friend, she gave me a tracker. And so far I've done 11 to be exact. 11, that's good. So far, that's congrats. Thank you. I know. And it's really like July 18th today. So I hate to think that people are saying, oh my gosh, it's almost the end of the year. No. We're barely halfway, people. Like, stay focused. Like, we do not slow down. We do not take our foot off the gas right now. This is when we have to press harder. And what's shocking is that my previous 4 years, I always got my paychecks July to December, July to December, July to December. And I've already done all that from January to today, July 18th. So I'm kind of like, okay, let's go. And my goal is really 20 this year. 10 was last year, 20 this year. So I'm on pace. And thankfully, I have active listings that are going to get me there. And I have another appointment today at 3:30. So I'm just kind of like trucking along, like staying focused. You're having a good year. One more question. How long do you take at your listing appointments, and do you wear a suit on, and do you get nervous at listing presentations? Oh man, you're coming in with some great questions. I love this. So I always give myself 1 hour for the appointments because really I just hang out with them. Like, I'm very much like chill now. So as far as nervous, no, because I know what I'm doing, and I do have the confidence, of course, at this point in time because I am 5 years in. So I know what I'm talking about, but I would also encourage anyone who goes on a listing appointment. So it's funny. People ask me like, what's my presentation, my listing presentation. I don't really have a listing presentation. This is kind of what my mentor taught me, not everything that he does. I don't have like numbers. I don't show people my days on market. I don't show people how many listings I have. I don't show people the volume I've sold, because that part of my brain thinks it's not about me, it's about them. And they just want to know that I am a professional. But I show that and display that during the conversation when I'm talking about the actual properties that affect them, not the properties I've sold. And that really has to do with this. So you're going to get a sneak peek. If anybody doesn't watch this live, they're missing out. This is what I take on my listing presentation. Well, this is a bit different. When I say listing appointment, it's different than a meet and greet. When I go on a meet and greet, that's me breaking the ice and just meeting someone. But this one in particular is a referral from a lady that I've known for the last 2 years. And her and I were friends on Facebook, and I didn't see this coming at all. This is kind of the first time this is like happening where I get a referral like this. But her sister called me and said, hey, you know so-and-so? I'm like, yeah, I know her. And she's like, I want to sell. And her sister told me the motivation. So I'm just going to go and we're just going to talk about comps. If I don't get the listing paperwork signed, I'm not going to freak out. Because I have a higher likelihood of getting the paperwork signed when it's a referral from someone like this. So here's the listing agreement in case she wants to sign. Again, I'm not going to hold my breath. A lot of the times I leave this behind because I really don't care. Like, if they sign it, they don't, whatever. Like, I'm very detached. The next is the comps. So I have active or available, active under contract, pending, and sold. So for my active, and I don't want to show like the address per se, but what I will show you is like I do the list version and I write all my notes. I did that this morning for like an hour. I was going over comps. This is game changer for me, you guys. I actually write the notes here as far as like, for example, This one says view, or the unit has a view, 100% renovated, updated. The next one says old. The only thing new is partial new vinyl instead of carpet, still have ceramic tile. Another one, updated 75%, vinyl flooring, 2 types, new kitchen countertops. These are like my notes, because when they see that I took the time and I digested and I broke down the differences between the units, like new AC, old water heater, hurricane impact windows, those kinds of things. They know that I took the time to figure out because I don't know what I'm walking into. So when I walk into it, then I don't have to remember necessarily what each unit, what the difference was. So if it's like, say, a community and there's a bunch of houses, you don't know what you're walking into if it's updated or not updated. But if you can write down in each individual one, whether it's updated in comments like new AC, new roof, new flooring, built a pool, things like that. I do that. And then the other stuff is just very generic. This is the deed, a copy of the deed. I don't know if you guys can get that from tax records, but we can. And then here is a copy of the tax records. This is all I take. I don't take any marketing. If they want to see my marketing, I pull out my laptop and I show them my website. I show them my YouTube channel. And on my website is actually all my photos, my description, the floor plans, and the video. And sometimes, like, say, for example, I go to a property and it's vacant. I talk to them about the virtual staging and I can display it on my website. I created my website. I control my website. I build my website. It's from Kajabi. I don't want to go too much into that. That I started 2 years ago. Hence, I've been in the business 5 years. I started that website 2 years ago. So don't get overwhelmed. You build. Hence why I'm growing from 100,000 last year to trying to get to $1 million a year. I don't know how many years that'll take me, but that's my impossible goal. That's the trajectory. That's where I'm headed. So this is my listing appointment. No, I don't get nervous. I don't wear a suit. I'll just wear like a casual professional dress. I am in Florida. I'm in the 2092 in the Central Valley. Oh my gosh, I love Central Valley. My home in Riverbank next to Modesto. But yeah, I'm a new agent and I don't know why I get so nervous to go on a listing appointment. That's what holds me back. No, I could understand. Like when you're first talking to a homeowner, it can be nerve-wracking. I think the biggest part is just trying to understand, like,
leave a message after the tone.
I think a lot of the nerves, of course, you're starting to self-doubt. You have self-doubt because you're like, oh my God, what am I doing? Am I really even going to be able to? And even when you get past the listing appointment and then you get your first listing, when you have your first listing, then you're like, oh my God, am I going to be able to sell it? Every single step of the way is nerve-wracking. And I would say there are times where I still take a new listing and I'm like, oh my God, am I going to be able to sell this?
Call has been forwarded to voicemail. The person you're trying to reach is not available.
But at that point in time, and thankfully, the book, The Gap in the Gain, is what really helps me, because what he calls it is always measure backwards. So I have to remind myself, Adela, you've done a really good job. Like, you know what you're doing, and I'm doing way more than most agents are doing, and sellers love it.
And forwarded to voicemail. The person you
And I know that I'm the person for it, so I can do it. Another big part is communication. If you can always over communicate with your sellers, they will always be happy. Even if for some reason they decide to take the house off the market, you'll have such a good relationship. I actually had a client of mine. I met up with him and his wife for drinks. We're kind of friends too. And they asked me, well, I should say we are friends. I just don't see them that often because they're always busy.
You reached Adam Rasner. Please leave a message after the tone. Thank you.
And I did a really good job and they asked me, "Oh, Adela, will you please sell our house when we decide to, put it on the market again?" I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely." Um, I'm trying to think of like what you could do to not get so nervous on listing appointments. I want to say if you circle prospect and you're meeting with people, I always like to say meet and greet because you want to break the ice and meet them at one point in time before an official listing appointment. Because I think if you go like on FISBOs and expired appointments, the pressure is on, like you have a lot of pressure and it's like make it or break it. And they're just having people throw themselves at them. And even though people who take the listings, I'm sorry, but they just lie through their teeth. They're like, "Oh, well, yeah, I got it for 3%." It's like, no, you probably didn't. And I only say that from experience because I speak to sellers and they'll always, usually, not always, but I find that I find out the truth, not on all of them, but on some of them. And they're like, "Oh, yeah, they just took it for 2%." I'm like, "See, I knew they just discounted."
Forwarded to voicemail. The person you're trying to reach is not available.
I'm trying to think of what could possibly help you as a new agent. Learning to be disconnected, maybe just going on as many appointments as you possibly can, just to maybe to get rid of those nerves, to bite the bullet or rip the band-aid off, as they say. But I also think it's a little bit more of a mindset, and I hate saying that word, but when I say mindset, I mean like you have to start almost changing your entire internal approach when it comes to the appointment, because if you're going to the appointment just thinking about how much money you can possibly make from the transaction, that's going to change your whole energy. I would go into it in terms of like, let me go see if this person even makes sense of why they're selling, because the last thing you want is to take a listing and not sell it. You just really want to make sure they're motivated and just ask good questions. If you've ever heard of the best salesperson that you can possibly be, is a salesperson who asks questions. The less you talk, the more questions you ask, the better the appointment will go. Maybe that's better advice for you guys. Adela, I don't know what kind of questions to ask. Then in that case, I would recommend you go to open houses. Maybe crazy information, but legit. Practice with the other agent. Go to the open houses and start asking them questions. How's the roof? Is the ceramic tile? Are these hurricane impact windows? Was the pool recently redone? How's the driveway? When is the seller looking to move? Do they already have somewhere to go? And that's fine to ask questions to the agents because they're there at the open house trying to sell it. But maybe practice asking questions on the agents at open houses. I don't know if you guys have been in sales before, but I've been in sales for 20 years now. And no matter what you sell, because I've sold many different products, I wouldn't say services so much. This is the first service product. Hello, Jason.
Please leave your message for.
But I would say no matter what you're selling, you do want to learn the product, in the sense of like, if you're selling condos, you're selling townhouses, you're selling commercial buildings, you want to learn the product. You want to know the ins and outs. So going to open houses actually helps out a lot. So I actually had to learn about materials. Like I actually even had to learn about seawalls for waterfront properties. And I remember hearing the word seawall. I couldn't even tell you how to write that. I'm like, sea what? I think water, I think ocean or canals. I don't think sea, like SEA. And I'll never forget when we had our first seawall inspection and I got to learn from a seawall inspector. I was like, it was a whole nother level, learning the terminology. It's really terminology, you guys. And also like knowing materials when you're there in person. Like I can look at a floor and tell you if it's ceramic or porcelain or marble or travertine. I look at countertops and I'm like, I know if it's like the cheap quartz or it's the actual expensive quartzite versus the old formica or marble. Marble isn't that great because it's technically porous. And it's also really good. I actually ask homeowners now because I know so much in terms of like how much it costs to build. Just ask questions. So like when I go on appointments in one particular building and just in general, like I know if you're going to do a 2-bedroom, 1,200 square feet, you're going to be looking at anywhere between 100,000 to 150,000 to redo. It's not renovated, and that has to also do because there's permits involved, which means you have to pay a premium for an actual licensed general contractor. Those are the kinds of things that I've learned that if you're new, you got to start learning that stuff. For example, like I know 1 bedroom, 1 bath, you're going to be looking at about $80,000, and that does not include appliances. But I'm talking about it depends on the quality, right? You could be at 150 for 2-bedroom high end or 80 for a 1 bedroom. Life for Rico, yeah, that helped. Okay, good. Sorry, one last question. I want to circle prospect like you, and when you're on your listing appointments, do you usually get your listings at 4 or 5 and then split that 50-50 with a buyer? Oh, so the rules have changed as of last August, so it'll almost be a year. I do not, I know there's a lot. So the good news for you, the good news for a lot of new agents is you don't have old habits. A lot of the older, more established and traditional brokerages are still operating on the old mindset that you have to get a higher percentage and split that 50-50. I go in there with the conversation of my professional fee. And then I just kind of explain to them the actual percentage they could possibly looking at possibly compensating a buyer's agent, but I just kind of leave that up in the air. I don't have it written in stone because technically, according to NAR and the state of Florida, compensation is fully negotiable and not set by law. So, and at the end of the day, even if they decided to compensate you a certain percentage at the beginning, may not be the compensation at the end if you want to negotiate. I'm so sorry, Dallin. Hey, how are you? Love your channel. Randomly popped up on my feed. I'm part-time transitioning to full-time in the next month or 2. Congratulations. That is awesome. I love hearing that. And I think that's the best thing ever. Like if you can transition or have a full-time job and like circle prospect, build your pipeline. I know Sonia's doing that. Sergio's working. Like there's a great group, Dallin, of realtors here and primarily cold calling. Realtors who have full-time jobs, realtors who have part-time jobs, realtors who are living off of savings. I did that. Actually, it was terrible. I wouldn't recommend it. It's very stressful, but I did it. I survived. I came out the other end. But forgive me, let me get to your question. You said, are you dropping voicemails for each person that doesn't answer? No, I'm not. There's a few reasons for that. Number one, I don't really answer the phone all the time, especially during my session, but I will when I'm out and about and I answer it here and there. Okay, number one, it takes a little bit longer for the system to hang up. That's fine. I haven't noticed any delays, which is great. I'm just struggling figuring out how to dispatch each call. And I'm noticing my activity that I'm doing, at least for right now, isn't translating to the desktop version. It's okay. Like I would say, I don't know if I'm doing anything, like if I'm even doing the stuff that I think I'm doing correctly on here, and that's fine. It's just a learning curve. So overall, I think it's good, actually. I'm not gonna lie. It's working great, actually. It's working great. I'm just kind of overwhelmed by the whole new interface, but I think it's like it'd be the same if you're a new agent and you're trying to figure out how to work Mojo on your computer. It's the same like feeling of, oh my God, what am I doing? This is new. Fully, I have my system set up on Mojo, so I know where people are supposed to go, like trash or lead. So I have 2 leads. Actually, oh my God, that lady, I didn't even want to celebrate her. She was such a so technically I have 2 leads for today. But this is new. Man, there's a lot going on today's live. If anybody who missed today's live better watch the replay. I'm like talking about my listing appointment I have today, talking about Mojo app, got 2 leads. Also say my tonality is I'm on point. I wonder if making like calls earlier is better for my vocal cords because later in the day I'm so exhausted. Sometimes I think it's a way more raspier because I've just been talking so much. I'm still team desktop. Yeah. What I really want to see is like, is my data really going to show up on Mojo desktop? Because I need to be able to keep track. I mean, I can't really work from my phone. You know, it would be funny now that so you said the app is nice if I'm working at an open house. Screen, mouse, and keyboard is a big plus for me. I agree. I agree. You know, I was thinking, like, could I totally do this when I'm driving? Like, think about it. The amount of time I'm in my car, I could just do my sessions. Part of me that I'm like, I would rather have a Mercedes S550 and buy it used for like 100,000, like was a year or 2 older. I think they're worth like 150. You're a driver. I'm like, driver, got another listing appointment we got to go to. Can you imagine pulling up to a listing appointment? I'll pull up to like a $20 million listing appointment and I'll be like, oh, that's my driver. A girl can dream. Next year, 1 million. Oh, you think so? I was kind of thinking maybe it might take me 5 to 10 years, but you never know. I mean, the amazing thing would be if, when these pre-construction buyers start flooding my inbox and calling me, I think I'll definitely hit 1 million. Awesome. It's Friday. If you're not calling, you better. Today's lead day. Eric got a lead. I got 2 leads. Matt got a lead. Call. Offered to text my info and he said no. Email me instead. You got it, bud. Oh, yeah, that's fine. Email. Yes, give me your email, sir. I'll take that any day. I would probably say I rarely ever get people who are like, email me. But I will get those people who are super excited that I called and they're like, oh my gosh, can you please email me your information? Let me give you my email to get all excited. You know, that's a really good lead. No open house for me tomorrow, so I'll be calling. Super excited to not have to put up those damn flags and signs and bring in a chair and print paper for nobody to show up. I agree. You're better off just calling. You're going to end up having such a bigger, better business by that. Hi, I'm about to sign off. I thankfully have a listing appointment. And it was a great session today. A lot of great questions, a lot of great feedback. I got 2 leads. Matt got a lead. Eric got a lead. So it was a great day. And I was experimenting with the MOJO app. So I actually used my phone today to call. It was crazy.